Hello, we are ready for science today on Tuesday, April the 28th. And in front of you, you should have the back of the page that you worked on yesterday. So this is page 174, and at the top it says the breathing process. The breathing process. So I hope you enjoyed looking up some of those inventions yesterday that were designed based on what scientists have observed in nature. And today we're going to start into this chapter on the respiratory system, talking about breathing, because that's the main function of the respiratory system. So you're going to have this page out with you as we look through these few pages, and you're going to be looking to what you can fill in. Okay, so right now, pause, look through the questions that you're going to be listening for, and then pay close attention as we go through this section so that you can answer those as we go. Ready? We're on page 264 in your book, so you should see a boy holding a bunch of balloons. You need to breathe in order to stay alive. Most of the time, you're not thinking about breathing, though. If you did, anything else. Imagine how hard it would be to talk, work, or play if you had to stop every few seconds and remind yourself to breathe. You don't say, breathe, breathe, breathe. You would never get anything done if all you were doing is telling yourself to breathe. Okay? Same thing like you don't say heartbeat, 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 heartbeat. Okay? You don't have to do that. So what does that mean? How does it work? Okay? That's what we're going to talk about. Even when at rest, most fifth graders breathe between 15 and 25 times each minute. In fact, you breathe in more than 14,000 liters, over 3,000 gallons of air each day. During your life, you will breathe enough air to fill up millions of balloons. Okay, so now you know why the picture of the balloons, not because we use our breath to blow those up, which we do, but in your lifetime, you would have enough air in your lungs to fill up millions of balloons. Genesis 2:7 tells us that God created man and breathed into him the breath of life. With this breath, man became a living person. Breathing is a gift of God. The human respiratory system, or breathing system, is one of his amazing designs. So again, our same question that we approach every time is, so why do I need to know how it works? I just say, God lets me breathe. Great, I'm glad I can breathe. It's because we want to know how it works. So that we can know how it should work in case there's problems. 2, if you want to help others and you understand how it works, then you can help when there's problems. Also, the same thing about observing nature that we saw yesterday. If I know how it works, maybe I could design another invention or something else that would work based upon the respiratory system. Now, here's the why behind it. Why do you breathe? Every cell in your body needs oxygen in order to live and function. Without oxygen, you would not have any energy. You would not be able to think, digest food, pump blood, or move. When you inhale, so in, you breathe in, you take in air, inhale. If you've ever watched an exercise video, they'll say, like if you're cooling down, they'll say inhale, exhale. Your blood takes the oxygen from the air to every cell in your body. The cells use the oxygen and produce carbon dioxide. Too much carbon dioxide in your body, though, can be harmful. So the carbon dioxide is sent out of your body when you exhale or breathe out. Again, that's the way God created it. He gave us exactly what we needed in the air and then made our bodies filters to be able to use what we need and get rid of what we don't. Next page, 265. How you breathe. So we have the why. We need it for ourselves. We need it to think, okay? We need it to be able to do anything else. So how does it happen? The brain controls how you breathe. I don't think we think about our brain as much of controlling things. We need our brain to make sense of sound. We need our brain to make sense of what we're seeing. We need our brain to control us to breathe. The brain is so essential. That's why we need to make sure we're caring for it. We need to make sure we're using it. You don't want a lazy brain if it's responsible for so much. Most of the time, you do not have to think about it. Your brain does it automatically. This automatic breathing is called involuntary breathing. So you don't have to volunteer to think about breathing. It's involuntary. It just is automatic. Okay. Same thing with your heart beating. Okay. Math is not involuntary. You have to actually think it through. Okay. You breathe involuntary when you are unconscious, asleep, or simply not thinking about breathing. God made us able to control our breaths at times, though. Voluntary breathing takes place when you think about breathing and control it, okay? Like when you're running or when you're exercising. Your brain can tell your body to stop breathing for a short amount of time. Without this control, you would not be able to hold your breath when swimming. You also could not do things like play wind or brass instruments. The brain also controls how fast and how deeply you breathe. When your brain registers that there is too much carbon dioxide, it sends a signal for you to breathe more deeply. For example, when you exercise, a signal is sent to the brain that more oxygen is needed by the cells. This causes you to breathe faster. Okay? Now, I want you to stop for a minute and read the Science and History because it talks about diving down and divers going down to find different things and what's required to do that. Now, the next page, 266, is talking about the breathing muscles. So we know why we do it. We know how. There's inhaling and exhaling. We know it's involuntary most of the time, but we can have voluntary breathing. Okay, so I always say breathe, breathe. You can make yourself take deeper breaths. Okay, but we also have muscles that are allowing us to do the breathing that needs to be done. Two special sets of muscles work with your brain to help you breathe. These muscles, your diaphragm, okay, so sits at the bottom, and your chest muscles, change the space and pressure inside your body to allow you to breathe. The diaphragm is a strong curved muscle attached below the lungs to the lower ribs and backbone. Okay, so you can kind of see it in the picture here. It sits below your rib cage at the bottom. It separates the chest from the abdomen, so it kind of protects it from the lower part. When you inhale, like this, your diaphragm tightens and moves down. It pushes down. At the same time, your chest muscles, which are located behind and between your ribs, lift your rib cage up and out of the way. You can almost feel that if you take a deep breath in, that you can see it going up and your diaphragm is going down, even though you can't see that. But this provides more space for your lungs. More space means the volume of your lungs expands. This in turn causes the air pressure inside them to decrease. The air pressure inside your lungs becomes less than the pressure outside your body. To equalize the pressure, air is sucked into your lungs. When you exhale, the process is reversed. Your diaphragm and chest muscles relax. As your diaphragm relaxes, it pushes up. Okay, so as it relaxes, it goes up, but as you breathe in, it goes down. As your chest muscles relax, they push in. These actions decrease the amount of space in your chest and increase the air pressure. This forces the air in your lungs out of your body, releasing the carbon dioxide and other gases back into the air. Okay, so if you're interested, there's some really good diagrams and some videos that you can watch online that would show this a little bit clearer and better for you to be able to really understand what's happening. If you sing, I was in choir when I was in high school, and if you sing, your choir teacher or your instructor will talk a lot about the diaphragm, because when you take a deep breath, like they said, your diaphragm is pushing down and creating more air inside, and you need air to be able to sing a very long note for a while without taking a deep breath in the middle of your singing. You have to, controlling your breathing is a really big part of breathing, a really big part of singing. So you almost imagine pushing down all the way to your toes, and you don't take breaths like this because the shoulders are doing nothing and you're not filling up anything. But if you think about filling up from the bottom, what I'm doing is I'm lifting my rib cage as high as I can go and pushing, and that diaphragm is being pushed down. That's why posture is important when you sing. If you're all slumped over like this, you can't take a big breath, and a big breath is what's going to give you the power to be able to release those big notes. So see, that's one big way in understanding this and how it works is very practical to be able to sing well or to be able to play an instrument. You don't see musicians hunched over like this either. They have to sit up, and what you're doing is you're creating all of that space so that that air can flow freely. Okay, now I hope that as you listened, you were able to fill in these questions here on your page. For the comment below, I want you to turn back to page 265 with me, and there is a caption next to the page of the boy playing baseball. The person needs more oxygen when he exercises or participates in activities such as baseball. And that applies to the book that I read you this morning, doesn't it? So I want you to fill in that word baseball with a different word. So take the same sentence, and I want most of the sentence, I want you to start it with, a person needs more oxygen when he blank, and I want you to fill in the rest of the sentence. A person needs more oxygen when he, and I want you to give me a different example other than baseball. It can be anything. When do I need more oxygen? That's the sentence I'm looking for below.